So, if I am a comic who has been on the grind for 10, 15 years, I'm living full time off comedy, not amazingly. I'm doing all the big comedy clubs multiple times a night. I'm grinding. My follower count isn't that big. I'm stuck. I'm living full time off comedy, but I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? What can I do to get myself to the next level?
Well, the first thing I'd say to them, which they wouldn't like to hear, is that why are you asking me a question that you know the fucking answer to? I mean, people aren't dummies. They know everything. I mean, if I'm an influencer and I post one time a week and my competitor posts 7 times a week, who's going to be 7 times better at the end of the year? If I'm a stand-up comedian and I go on once a week and the others go on 7 times a week, who's going to be 7 times better? I don't know of any artist in the world that outworks and outsmarts all the people that do what they do and loses. Now, I do know people who work harder than other people. And I know people who don't work as hard as other people. If Bert Kreischer, who I represented for probably 8 years and I love, if he were sitting here, I presume that he would say, I don't work as hard as Judd Apatow. I presume he would say, I'm not working as hard as Bill Burr.
He's not as big as Bill Burr.
There's a lot of people that are. What I'm saying is,
you're saying that there's people that are bigger.
If Dave Chappelle were sitting here, I presume that Dave doesn't wake up at the crack of dawn and start writing until he goes to sleep at 2 a.m. I presume that the
biggest mistake people can make is looking at aliens, Dave Chappelle is an alien, and say, I can do what the aliens can do. Assume you are not an alien. Work like a human being, not like an alien.
Yeah. So you can't compare yourself to all these people. But the point I'm trying to make is that you just have to, as an artist, the evidence is all there. I mean, remember I said that, the top of the thing is peace of mind. Well, when it comes to the advice that you're asking for, the number one gift that you have as an artist, and I tell all the people I consult with, if I manage it, if I do the blueprint or even the industry standard, I really believe this is a key. It's all about the lyrics. And when I say lyrics, I know lyrics are always associated with music, but I associate them with magic. I associate them with stand-up comedy, sketch, YouTube influencers, singers, songwriters. It's like you have the lyrics. Get a helmet. It's all over. I mean, I want to share this with you, and because it's one of the most important things that I talk about, and I use this person as an example a lot, and I don't even know why, but it just always stuck with me. And it wasn't one of the greatest bits of all time, but if you're a comic, the most important thing is your premises, original premises, and then you can write as many jokes as you want under those, but just premises that what is it? Joe List does a routine. Jay Moore was telling me that he just interviewed him on Picasso. Like, who does a routine on Picasso? It's like Jim Jeffries, Gun Control. I mean, who's doing the...
That was his hit single. If we're using music analogy, that was his breakout single.
Like, who's doing routines on Gun Control?
Yeah.
Or Oscar Patoric, or whatever your name is. The guy with the prosthetics. Chappelle, the crack baby. Who's doing routines about a baby selling crack in a diaper? And so this guy who I represented long ago named Nick DiPaolo, who's now a political comedian, I'll never forget the first bit I saw him do. And because after the premise, if the premise isn't necessarily extraordinary, or if it is extraordinary, the next most important thing is the phraseology, original phraseology. So I'll share this with you and your audience. Simple premise. I'm having a bad day. I'm really hungry. I'm in New York City. I go into a sub shop. There's no one at the front desk of the sub shop. I ding the bell. Young pimply-faced kid comes out of the back with rubber gloves and a plunger in his hand. Says, "Can I help you?" Pimply-faced kid with rubber gloves and a plunger in his hand. Number one. I looked at him and I said, "Yes, you can start by boiling your hands. Start by boiling your hands." Another phrase, incredible phrase. The guy says, I don't understand. Next line. Wash them like you're sterilizing surgical tools. 3. The guy's like, "Look, pal, I'm sorry, I don't understand." He says, "Look, pal, I don't want the rhino virus in my tuna." So 1 minute, he's got 4 phrases that no one uses. You'll never hear. And these are the things that...
Phrases you'll never hear, but you instantly understand.
Yes. And they gain respect of your peers. They gain respect of your audience. And you become instantly memorable for what you have to say. Like, I just think to myself, I saw a clip of Jim Jeffries because I love Jim, and it's one of my...
Australia represent.
And I just saw a 1 minute clip, and you've seen every clip, and probably your audience has, but I just want to share with you and paraphrase it because I love it so much, because sometimes the greats can Penn and Teller a joke. And what I mean by that is Penn and Teller were famous for telegraphing the routine and showing you what you're going to see, how the magic trick is done. And that was their thing. They would do a trick and show you how it was done in a comedic way that they created. And so there's certain comedians who can do that. And Jim Jeffries, and I know I'm sorry if I butcher this, Jim, but it's just this 1 minute clip from his special that I just love, where he just says, he talks about something, a premise that's been talked about for decades. The statistics of marriage. And he goes through the statistics. He says the least successful marriages are lesbians. The second least most successful marriages are heterosexuals. And the most successful marriages are gay men. So he's told you the statistics. Your job as an audience member, always, when you're sitting there, is to try to figure out the puzzle of what the joke is going to happen. The greatest comedians of the world do not let you know what the answer to the puzzle is until the last minute. And I want to talk a lot about this because this is really important. In a horror movie, the reason why you're scared is the person goes in the basement and you just don't know when the fucking kill shot's gonna happen, when the fucking hand's gonna come up from the stairs. You have no idea. And that's why it's great. Horror and comedy are the same, and great comedians are telling the story or the joke. You don't know where it's gonna go and you can't figure it out. But the greats can sometimes show you where you're going. Well, I already know where he's going with this, so how is this gonna be funny? But it's still funny with the way he explains it. He says, let me mansplain this for you. And then he just says, gay women are the least successful marriages because there are 2 women involved. And the phrase, even though it seems common, it's not. There are 2 women involved. And then he says, regular marriages, heterosexual marriages are not much better. They're the next least successful because there is 1 woman involved. And then the next line he says is something, who knows, you probably heard in high school. He says something to the effect that, well, there's a reason why the word gay meant happy. Because there are no women involved. So you got these phrases that they seem common. There are 2 women involved. There is 1 woman involved. There is 0 women involved. And it's just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And so let me just go with this for a second. One-liner comics are really, really challenged, and there's not a lot of one-liner comics because they have to write 5, 6, 7, 8 jokes per minute or whatever it is. Let's just say 5, 10. But Rodney, his jokes were 4 or 5 second jokes, and you probably think to yourself, well, why does he get laughs all the time? It's because the audience doesn't have time to figure it out. Oh, I got to tell you, my parents hated me. My bath toys were a radio and a fan. It's 4 seconds. You don't have the time to figure it out. It's I went to the bartender. He said, surprise me. He pulled out a picture of my wife. It's all these things where it always got to laugh because there's no time for the audience to solve the puzzle. I was consulting with somebody, and they said, what do you think of this joke? And I said, I want you to say it slowly, and I want you to stop before the punchline and see if I can guess what the punchline is. And if I can guess what the punchline is, then
it's no good.
It's no good. And it was like a common formula. He was like, I traveled to Georgia last week. I went to the black area of Atlanta. It's called, what's the joke?
I'm worried there's too many American references here I won't get. So I'm sorry.
That's okay. I went to the black area of Atlanta. It's called Atlanta. That was the joke. And I knew it was coming. I mean, and you didn't know because you're not from around here.
Yeah.
But then I remember this other woman in the blueprint, and I loved this joke. And I never saw it coming. Hi, my name's Jane. I'm 45 years old. You know you're getting old as a woman when? And I was thinking to myself, God, what could that be? When your Spanx have an expiration date?
There's a few things that come to mind.
When your nipples get caught in your shoelaces? What is she going to say? And then I asked her to say a few more lines to see if I could guess it. Hi, my name's Jane. I'm 45 years old. You know you're getting old as a woman when you have to buy. And I was stumped. I said, tell me a few more lines. When you have to buy your own. And I fucking still don't know what it is.
Drinks?
Yeah. And so this is the line. My name's Jane. I'm 45 years old. You know you're getting old as a woman when you have to buy your own cocaine. Fucking boom. Like just fucking Mike Tyson uppercut.